What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a great day so far. Hopefully, you guys having a good CVC so far. In today's video, we got a little bit of a update here. Behind me is one of the brand new champions coming in the Echoes of Oz collab that Plarium has going on. Probably soon. We don't have an official date or anything like that. She might look a little bit familiar to you guys because she was in the Plarium teaser, I think last week. And here we go. We got the full kit reveal, who she is, what she's about, and everything like that. Let's check out some commentary here from Plarium and see what they have to say about this champion. So first up here, so hey folks, we're happy to present the first champion from the upcoming Echoes of Oz campaign, Ozilda the Wicked. So she is going to be one of the witches, I guess, right? So faction Dark Elves. I think Dark Elves probably would have been the majority pick for a lot of people based on her general aesthetic. She's a legendary champion. She's a support champion, and she will be Void Affinity. Welcome, Ozilda the Wicked, a ruthless boss of the brand new Echoes of Oz event dungeon. She is the relentlessly aggressive support champion who constantly puts pressure on your team with buff strips and debuffs while empowering her allies to quickly take down crowd-controlled opponents. Mercurial and protection sets will prove extremely useful in this event dungeon rotation, as will cleansers and champions with decrease debuff duration effects. Bringing some crowd control abilities will certainly make your battles easier, especially on the higher stages of the dungeons. And lastly, remember the golden rule: take down the minion before focusing the Wicked Witch herself. So there we go. From this little blurb here, we know that she is going to be the event dungeon boss. She is going to be Void Affinity, so she's not going to be, most likely she's not going to be any way obtainable for everybody. We just had the Rhea the Mourned, event, and she was the winner take all in a champion chase. Previous to that, we didn't have Pontiff as a guaranteed champion, but the Void champion from the Assassin's Creed collab was Bayek, and he was a winner take on in a champion chase as well. And same thing goes with the Shredder last year. So we can kind of assume that she's probably going to be pretty hard to get. She is the Void Affinity champion. It's kind of weird that they're kind of teasing this champion first, as opposed to like a free login champion or the fusion. But hey, we got her first. Let's check out her full kit here and see what she's about. All right, so here we go. We got the Void Affinity support champion. She really looks like Madame Cirrus. I kind of hate it, honestly, that they put this champion in the same faction as Madame Cirrus with very general, similar aesthetics, and they're both support Void champions. I don't know. Come on, Plarium. Anyways, let's check out her full kit here. Her A1 Enfeebling Curse attacks all enemies. That's obviously very amazing. Has a 40% when and 60% when fully booked, placing block active skills. That's super, super strong. Block active skills, very strong. Same with block passive skills. Only 6% chance, but it is an AoE attack, giving her tons of flexibility. You can put her in various sets and she can apply different debuffs. Has a 100% chance instead against targets who are under fear or true fear. So 60% on AoE, 100% if they're under fear on an AoE. Very, very nice A1. Let's check out our A2. You Can't Escape Me. 5-turn cooldown, books down to 3-turn cooldowns. Remove all buffs from all enemies. Steals 30% of each enemy's turn meter if they're under fear or true fear. Has a 100% chance when fully booked of placing decreased defense and 100% ensnare debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Now, on first look, this ability looks pretty dang crazy. Like, you got a full enemy strip. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. You place decreased defense and ensnare. Ensnare, honestly, is not that great. It's not really like proper crowd control. Yeah, it basically just shuts down turn meter effects. So if you have ensnare on the enemy, so any kind of turn meter effects that they have on them basically becomes, ignored, or it doesn't work anymore. So it's not really anything as strong as I would even say like something like fear, right? Like 50% chance of missing your turn or whatever. But decreased defense is still good. The strip is still good. The 3-turn cooldown is still good. Now, if you do have fear on the opponents, you get a 30% turn meter steal. That is very strong. That's, Arman's-esque level, right? No, not even on that level. Arman's is another level because it's like a full steal. But 30% steal is very, very strong, but you have to apply the fear first. Let's see if that is going to be possible in her kit. So let's check out the A3 Lambs to the Slaughter. 6 turn cooldown, books down to 4 turns. Random books into damage. I'm not liking that. You got random book and damage on the A1 and the A3. Attacks all enemies. Places a Master Seal debuff on the initial target for 2 turns. Don't worry, guys. I got you. What is Master Seal? Master Seal is an enhanced version of this debuff, which additionally blocks the effects from blessings, relics, and gemstones, except stat boosts. So looks like the Seal debuff is going to stop gear sets, stop masteries, and then in addition, it's going to stop blessings, relics, and gemstones from working. So seems like a pretty strong debuff, right? So she's going to place that on the initial target for 2 turns. And then, this is the big one, guys. She has a 30% chance of placing sheep on all other enemies for 1 turn. She has an AoE sheep ability. Places a block passive skill debuff for 2 turns instead if the 30% chance does not activate sheep. So it's either going to be an AoE block passive or it's going to be an AoE sheep. Pretty dang crazy. And then, of course, you got the Master Seal as well on the single target there. What would have made this even crazier is if Master Seal or block passive was was protected. If it couldn't be removed, that would be even more amazing. But it is a pretty powerful ability. Obviously, things like polymorph on the other side, on the enemy side, is going to wreck her day. Now, that's where this passive is actually very, very cool. So her passive, Beyond Deranged. This champion is immune to sheep, fear, true fear, ensnare, block actives, seal, master seal, and block passives. So somebody like Carnage against this champion is not very powerful. And then you have things like polymorph potentially not being very good against her either. Whenever an enemy receives a buff, has a 50% chance of placing True Fear on that enemy for 1 turn, will ignore block debuffs. This effect can only activate once per skill and once per target. Blah, 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 blah. So 50% chance of landing True Fear if they receive a buff. This is pretty crazy. I would assume that this effect would happen at the beginning of the turn. So True Fear could be applied right away, similar to how Taras applies his True Fear to somebody like Warlord, for example, at the start of the round. I would assume that this True Fear has a chance to be applied when bolster sets and magma shield and all that stuff gets applied right away. Now, Stone Skin and Mercurial should be able to block this True Fear from the beginning, but block debuffs will not be able to block this, which is really cool. This champion and their allies deal 20% more damage against enemies under fear or true fear. If there are multiple enemies, blah, blah, blah. So you guys get the gist. So she enables your team to do more damage if they're under fear or true fear. Finally, Aura 70, accuracy in all battles, pretty fitting for her kit, considering that she lands quite a bit of debuffs. She lands a tons of fears, decreased defense, ensnare, master seal, sheeps, and block passive. So tons of debuffs in her kit. Accuracy is going to be a huge thing for her. Now, how strong is this champion really going to be? Like on first look, her kit looks pretty strong, right? She has an AoE A1, it's a block active, which is incredibly strong, 60% chance, of course. And then up to 100% chance if they're under fear. Very, very strong A1. Her A2 is very good. I wouldn't say it's insanely good, but it's very good. It would be insanely good if they are under fear or true fear, because she gets the 30% turn meter steal, which is a really big deal. And then her A3 is very interesting. It's an AoE sheep ability. It's only 30% chance. Of course, you can add masteries like Fearsome Presence to increase the sheep chance by 5%. But, it's only 35%, so it's not even going to be that reliable. But if you can land block passives, that's also decent debuff, right? Very, very powerful debuff in PvE. And on top of that, the Master Seal can be quite game-changing also. Her immunity is very cool. I like it that she is immune to, sheep and true fear. So, and then obviously the block active seals, master seal, block passives. And her passive fears is going to be very crazy, right? What I would have liked to see was if a fear, what I would have liked to see is maybe if she had some kind of passive that played off of fear that gave her turn meter boost. That would have been pretty cool. Like if a fear expires or if a fear is placed. or if a fear does not, successfully block the opponent's turn. I would like to see like a turn meter boost for her, like kind of passively. That would be pretty cool, I think. The boosted damage for your allies, if they're under fear, feels a little bit out of place. It feels a little bit out of place, but obviously it's still going to be a pretty strong, ability against wave content and arena and all that. But it does feel a little bit out of place for her. To me, this is strictly an arena champion. Obviously, she can be helpful in like some wave content, but she's not going to give you as much value as if you were using her for arena, for example, right? So the sum of her parts, I think, is very good. I do struggle to see her getting used over a lot of other champions that also provide crowd control. For example, somebody like Odin. I find Odin's passive potentially way more powerful than her passive with the block damage every 9 turns. And Odin does bring a speed aura if you need it, which I think is probably a little bit more usable than just plus accuracy. And then lastly, her A2 is not as strong as Odin's because Odin's AoE stun is just really, really strong. They're both touchless abilities. I'm just kind of comparing like a random champion like Odin versus Ozilda here. Now, if you want to compare Ozilda's A2, I found Fighty Tealcrest has a very comparable type of ability to hers. He also has a AoE strip ability. His is a hit, on hit ability, whereas she is a touchless ability. And he places block buffs with a decreased speed. These are unconditional. And then he also fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. So he doesn't steal turn meter, but it's also not conditional. So Ozilda does have a conditional 30% turn meter steal. And I would say decreased defense and enfeeble is probably similar to decreased speed block buffs. I kind of like decreased speed block buffs maybe a little bit more, just because enfeeble I find as a lower quality debuff. And I do like the unconditional turn meter boost as opposed to a 30% turn meter steal, which can be, for example, stopped by Mercurial and Stone Skin and all that. And obviously hers is conditional based on fear. So to me, Fighty's A2 seems a little bit better. Both are on a 3-turn cooldown than Ozilda's A2. But that's not to knock her too much. Obviously, Fighty's a very, very strong Void Affinity champion as well. I think she'll be good, but I don't think she's going to be top tier. I don't think she's going to be a meta changer for a lot of people. I think she's going to be decent, but definitely, obviously keep an eye out for any kind of showcase footage on her just to see how well she performs. But like I said, she's going to be strictly, mostly a PvP champion, obviously with the sheep and stuff, block passives, but she can help you out in some wave content also. She's in a pretty stacked faction with the Dark Elves. Lots of decreased defense champions, lots of strip champions. So while she can be helpful in faction wars, she's probably not going to be like heavily relied on. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this quick read through for Ozilda the Wicked. This is a first look at her kit, my first opinions, first kind of assessments. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Ozilda the Wicked. Do you guys think that she is going to be a worthy kind of void legendary event boss dungeon champion? Do you guys think that she's actually worthy of being a champion that people go crazy for, right? For a winner take all type of event. Do you guys have any interesting ideas on how to use this champion? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear about it. Appreciate you guys watching until the end. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.